5 years away from 30 is diabolical to me. Like, that is so crazy. Oh my God. What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Kiki Lee, and I'm back with another video. I'm so happy to be back on YouTube. I'm in my new apartment, just new energy, new vibes, new lighting. I feel really good, and I just wanted to come on here and chit chat with you a little bit because I've officially been 25 for 5 months. Oh my gosh. I've been having a lot of conversation with like my friends in person. So I have two friends that are younger than me. I have a friend that's 20 and 22, and they're like sisters to me at this point. Well, all my friends really at this point. I have a good core of 4 women that I love to death. And then the other 2 are 27 and 30, and I'm smack dead in the middle, 25. So for me, it's funny because talking to all of them, we all have very different life experiences, and I just feel like, and instead of just making a makeup video or a hair video or a nail video, let's talk. I feel like this is needed. A lot of people forget that real life is happening and we're just on the internet looking and admiring things, and like real life is happening. So I feel like we should talk about it. So let's get right into this video. So I've officially been 25 for 5 whole months, right? I should have just waited till next month to do like 6 months, but this only feels right now. This is crazy. 30 is... But no, it's really not. I think right now I'm just focusing on living in the moment and just being so serious about my intentionality with my schedule, my life, my career, I guess. There's a couple points that I want to talk on, and I wrote them in my notes so I can like stay on track. So I guess the first thing that I should go with is something a bit more simple. And one of the biggest things that I have learned and that has kept me in good graces and always kept me, I guess, not only safe, but responsible. Girl, don't ever let that gas tank get below half, ever. When my gas is on half, to me in my brain, it's empty. There's no more gas. And that's just how you have to look at it. That may sound crazy. I am a type A personality. I will preface with that. My nana used to always say, you never let your gas tank get on E. Now my mom, on the other hand, very much a boss, independent woman. She let that gas tank put as a kid. I have trauma from it. Sorry. So mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, girl, but like, that was traumatic. I went away for college, and my biggest fear is if you're ever missing an exit, or like I used to be back and forth late at night, I don't want to stop for gas. We're girls, let's just be honest. I don't think you should be afraid of anything. There's not much I'm afraid of, but be aware of your surroundings. And if you have gas and it's always at half, at least you're never paying to like fill up your tank all the way. And people be like, oh, we're just getting gas more frequently. Either way, you need the gas. So go ahead and get yourself a membership. So this adds on to the responsibility. Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's, wherever you're at. I have a Sam's Club membership, like a regular one. My mom got me a Costco membership. BJ's I really don't like, and I don't live in PA anymore, so I don't really go to BJ's, but if I had to, I would go there. So get yourself a membership. The gas is always cheaper at these wholesale places like that. So with that, if you're close to a Sam's Club, Costco, whatever, even if you're not close, when you're out and about, when you're running around just frivolously spending money as a girl, make sure you get gas on the way home. I don't care if you're at half a tank. Your tank is empty, technically. With that being said, you are always prepared. You stay ready so you don't gotta get ready, okay? Just never know. And let's just say it comes to a time where like you're bad on money, you have a full tank of gas, you're good. You got at least a half a tank to get you where you gotta go. The next thing is making sure that you start to learn a little bit more about credit, right? So I have become more financially literate as I'm going through my 20s. So in this past 5 years, I've learned a lot. Add on 2 more years from when I was 18. I have learned a lot in this time. I will say I have a lot to learn still, but I didn't grow up with the financial literacy. I just knew everybody would say, don't mess your credit up, but never said how to keep it good or how to do it right. All I'm gonna say is make sure if you have a credit card that you are not going above a high utilization where like it's above 30%. I'm saying this to you as somebody who bought this camera on a credit card and I'm paying it off, but there's no interest, so I'm gonna make sure it's paid off. You see what I'm saying? I'm being transparent and honest. Interest is what kicks everybody in the butt. If I had to start all over again, I think at 18, I did this very well. And like I said, my 2 younger friends, especially the one that's 20, I talked to her about this a lot. I'm trying to talk to my sister about this. when you get your first credit card, use it only for gas. So I got my first credit card with my bank, and I started off at like, I think like a 648, I think my credit score was. I never did anything. I never had credit. I wasn't in college yet, so I guess I didn't have the student loan yet. But anyway, freshman, sophomore year of college, only for gas. That was it. When I needed something for school and I needed groceries, got that with the card. Pay it off immediately, but I always left a small balance. So I always left at least $10 to $15 as a balance, because I learned the hard way. If you pay your credit cards off all the time, it don't do nothing for you. And I had a friend that was a finance major, well, I was a management major, and he was like, girl, don't do that, because we don't learn that. We just are so scared of credit that we're like, no, we gotta pay it off. No, don't do that. Don't use all of it. Never max it out, ever. But also to make sure that you have a little bit of a balance. And girl, you heard me. I said 10, 15, 20. If your limit on there is $7,000, I personally would have kept the balance of like 100. For real, and then just pay it off eventually. But like, don't have where you're not using any of your credit, because that's not good either. Don't cancel a credit card. Just stop using it. And maybe I have more to learn on that too. But like, cut the card if you need to at your house. But like, don't call and cancel it. I heard that hurts your credit too. Another tip I would have is making sure, download Credit Karma on your phone or something. Make sure you're paying attention to it. Another thing that I would say also with the credit card, don't just pay the minimum. If your minimum is $45, pay $55. If there's zero interest on your card for a while, that's fine. But if there is interest, it kind of kicks you in the butt. So I'm not a credit guru, but I have a very nice credit score and making a couple hiccups in between, which leads to my next point. So it could be better, trust me. But this ties into my next point where I've screwed up. Decenter men from your life, okay? As someone who grew up with my dad in and out of my life, not seeing the most successful relationships, yearning consistency, when you have men at the center of all that you do, and this is what I mean by that. I've never been a pick-me, so like, that's not what I'm talking about. I made it through high school, no baby, like I was good. I didn't do stuff until I got to college. When I tell you that to decenter men from your life, I mean more so like I always took care of my responsibility and my priorities. A man was never my priority, but my life did revolve around it, because I yearned for consistency, and the only thing that I could have consistent literally was being in a long-term relationship. And that is something that I think hindered me. And now that I'm halfway through my 20s, the first half of my 20s I spent in a relationship. Completely honest. I haven't had a boyfriend in 2 years, but I haven't dated anybody in the past 8 months. So I don't know, there's something about decentering men and it just being really healthy for you to do that, because when, for some reason, I can speak for myself, the minute there was no guy around, life started going like this. Just being honest, okay? To add with that, when I was talking about credit, don't ever let a man put nothing in your name. Ever. 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 I don't care what it is. I've made the mistake of doing that. I made the mistake of also helping and not supporting. Know the difference. I think that's something you should learn in your early 20s. That there's a difference between helping and supporting. Helping is doing something for the person because you know it needs to get done, but they may not have the capacity to take on or receive what you're doing. They may not even want you to do what you're doing. Being supportive is listening and understanding that you do not have to play hero in a situation. Although sometimes helping someone may affect you if you do not help that person. So I get that. I've been in a situation where I was with a man. He needed the help. And in order for him to be okay, and if I didn't help him, it would have affected me in the long run. Then me helping him really kicked me down for a little bit, but I got back up, okay? With that being said, I don't care what it is. Don't let nobody move into your place. Don't let anybody stay with you, and don't put anything in your name for anybody. I'm gonna keep that brief. Don't do it. You want to touch the stove and see how hot it is, go ahead and do it. But as someone who touched it and got a little first degree burn, I'm telling you right now, don't do it, okay? The next thing to tie in with that is do not bear other people's burdens. And I've learned that really and truly within the last year of my life. I think it's in the book of Proverbs. It even talks about that. Don't bear other people's burdens, because then you're a fool. If you cannot take care of yourself, don't try to take care of somebody else. If your cup is not full, don't try to pour into somebody else's cup, because it's only going to hurt you. And then you cannot be mad when that person can't help you in return. I've learned that the hard way, taking accountability for where I've gone wrong in doing those things. I've repented for where I went wrong in certain things like that. And sometimes you just don't need to play hero. Who are you trying to save? She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. Whether it's a guy, family, friends, do not bear other people's burdens. Sometimes you really just have to pray for people. And I'm not saying don't be there for people. Don't be generous. Don't be kind. I'm saying, like, don't go and cut your leg off for somebody. They let their leg fall off and you gotta cut yours off for them? No, don't do that. I think that you should try your best to assist them into realizing where they can do better. But for you to give everything and drop everything you have, no. I've done that way too many times. And it's not like I don't care for people. It's just, why would you put yourself in a situation where now you're left without? And I will say, like, I don't think I've ever left myself completely without, because I just wouldn't do that. But I know, like, the feeling of, like, dang, like, who's gonna be there for me? So just don't bear people's burdens. And if you want to take the time to look more into that biblically, I definitely think you should. Another thing I feel like I should bring up, something I learned in my early 20s, be careful with birth control. I'm not trying to, you know, project any agenda, but, like, I'm just not for birth control anymore. I just think it's horrifying. I think it's really bad for your body. It's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. It's either going to affect you mentally or physically or both. Be careful with birth control. I blew up like a balloon on birth control on top of bad habits. I think that the bad habits were honestly there for a long time. Some got worse, but I don't think it would have been as bad physically if I wasn't on birth control. It affected me mentally, where I was just kind of numb. I wasn't ever sad. I was just, like, really numb to a lot of things. And I think also being on birth control, being in a relationship, I just wasn't catching certain things just because, like, my body was, like, so dysregulated. I will say it affects you. It affects your body. I would just say stop touching people. That's what I would say. Just be safe out there. That's all I can say on that note. But be careful with it, because it really does affect you, and just do your research on it. And it takes a while for it to get out your system too when you're done with it. I didn't really feel myself fully until like 5 months after I got off of birth control. The next thing I would say is to learn to listen to your gut. Where I'm at now in my life, I would say learn to respect the power and the sacrifice of Jesus. That's just where I'm at. That's where my strength comes from. If I'm just being honest, I would be nothing without Jesus. So if I share anything, it will be in full transparency. That's just where I'm at. Personally, I think your gut is the Holy Spirit talking to you. Discernment, wisdom kicking in, a guidance bigger than you trying to tell you to be aware, and give you a nudge like, hey, be careful. I don't think I listened to my gut when it came to certain things. So I had a couple negative experiences that with not trusting and listening to my gut. I dated people that I shouldn't have dated. I made people my boyfriend that probably should have just been a date or two that I should have never went with. I've had some negative things happen to me. You know, I don't know how to say that. Like, I just had some really negative things happen to me in college that if I can go back, I know exactly the pinpoint. I know the gut feeling I got. I know when God was trying to talk to me, say, don't go there, don't be around that person. And I still went because I was like, what am I nervous for? Like, you know, no, follow your gut. Your pride and ego will not save you ever. So definitely listen to your gut. Pay attention to the signs of things. Be aware when someone shows you who they are. Believe it the first time. You can give them grace. All we have to give people is just love. We are not perfect. I am not perfect. You are not perfect. Who am I to condemn you, judge you down to the ground? I've grown a lot in that and understanding that. I can give you grace and I can give you love. You don't have to have access to me though, like whatsoever. That goes into my next point of allowing your yes to be a firm yes and your no to be a firm no. Have boundaries, respect your gut, and then have a boundary and stand on it. Nobody is going to take you serious if you don't take yourself serious. No one is going to, especially with men, you have to really lay boundaries with them, and women as well, friendships, family members, whatever. Yes, I can come no, I'm sorry, I can't. And don't be a people pleaser. If you can't, you can't do it. That ties back into don't bear other people's burdens. If you literally cannot go, if you literally cannot do it, if it is not in your cards, don't do it. Just don't. Listen to your gut. If it makes you, there's a difference between being scared of something and anxious to the unknown versus like, no, like I have a dire gut feeling like this can hurt me. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a difference. So make sure you're really paying attention to your gut. You're listening to the Holy Spirit. You're listening to God. And once you start tapping in, you might be able to go off of more than just your gut. But I just wanted to put that out there. Your yes should be a firm yes, and your no should be a firm no all the time. And that's something that I really have worked on the past year of my life and continuing on to that. And you're not being mean. You're setting boundaries. And if they don't respect that, there's your answer too. Yeah, you gotta go. It was nice to see you. It was nice talking to you, but no. Actually, no. That's okay. You don't have to repeat yourself because the answer is no. Like, you just have to be real firm with people. Don't ever let anybody make you feel less than or uncomfortable for respecting yourself. If they don't respect themselves, that's a them problem. But you're not gonna bring that over here. Do you know what I mean? That goes into my next point of respecting yourself. Respect yourself physically, mentally, spiritually. The more you tap in with God, the more you understand like the sacrifice of Calvary and understanding like, wow, there's nobody who loves me on this earth more than God, more than Jesus. With loving that and respecting him, you learn to respect yourself, because when you dishonor yourself, you're dishonoring him, right? So with that being said, we're in the flesh, we're living life. I've had my worldly escapades. And all I'm gonna say is, when you respect yourself 100% or close to it, you don't do certain things anymore. You don't hang around certain people. I wouldn't even say like, I'm not even a bystander to certain things anymore, because I'm just like not down for it. Respect your body in every way, shape, and form. Do not just be sleeping with people. I'm talking to the girls. Girls, I'm telling you right now, stop sleeping with people. Stop sleeping with people. There are so many things happening just off in the world, the hygiene that comes with that. But on top of that, like the spiritual consequences that comes with sleeping with people, you're not ready for that. And I'm telling you, as someone who has dealt with spiritual warfare, sleeping with the devil, sleeping with the enemy, I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. You better think again, because when that gut feeling comes in between, or when you don't feel good that next morning, listen to that and just start over. Like, renew yourself. Talk to God about it. But girl, don't be doing that. Get a hold of yourself. I don't want to hear the, oh, women could just do whatever. We're not men. And I feel like men should respect themselves as well. I would tell my son, respect yourself. And I would tell my son the same exact thing. But we're not men. So don't think that you can think like a man because you're not a man, okay? That's that part. The more you respect yourself, the more you are paying attention to the company that you keep. If people do not care about whether they're late to work or not, they're not gonna care whether you're late to work or not. If people don't care about what they eat and they eat trash, they're gonna invite you to eat the trash with them. If people are getting drunk to the point where they're blacked out every single weekend, do you think that they care if you're blacked out? They're gonna want you to get blacked out with them. Misery loves company. And some people, they might say, oh, I'm not miserable. If you have to drink for every function to do every single thing, or you have to be high, there's a problem. There's a problem. You need to look into that. I'm not judging you, but there's a problem here. There's a pattern, clearly. Look into that, okay? Seek help. I'm not judging you. I've drank, I've smoked. It doesn't really serve me. And the Holy Spirit really was like, girl, what are you doing that for? Because I didn't drink often. I didn't smoke often. But when I did, it was very social. But I'm realizing I'm doing this not because, oh, I didn't want to, but like, I'm really just doing this to pacify others, because it was annoying being the only sober one around. No. Why don't you drink? Because I don't. Why? The answer is I don't drink. Don't ask me again. Oh, it's like, no, I said no. Like, you know what I'm saying? Firm yes, firm no, right? If people are sleeping around and being messy, honey, you think they ain't gonna hurt you? You think they're gonna care about your well-being? They're not. Because if they can't protect themselves, you think they're gonna protect you? They're not, okay? Be careful who you're friends with. Be careful, seek a romantic partnership with. the more you respect yourself, it becomes so visibly clear who does not care about themselves, who is insecure. And I'm not talking about like, oh, looks. I'm talking about like you see it in their eyes, how insecure somebody is, how uncomfortable somebody is, how people use things to cope, okay? And I'm saying this respectfully. I do not drink. I do not smoke. I don't drink coffee. Like, I literally cry and pray and I'll put makeup on. That is about it. And sometimes I don't feel like doing that. But as someone who literally just raw dogs my issues, you can't surround yourself with people who will hurt themselves, who hurt themselves constantly in some way, shape, or form, spiritually, mentally, physically, because they're going to do that to you. Or they're going to be okay with you doing it to yourself. And our iron sharpens iron. So if you don't have a strong sister circle of people around you, you're not going to get that far, respectfully. You're just not. The next thing I want to talk about is don't be materialistic. I've never been materialistic ever. I went to school for business management. Once I learned that everything just comes from a factory and you just can wholesale things and just stick your brand on it, it really doesn't matter. After high school, and depending on what school you go to, I went to a PWI, so it really didn't matter. But I know a lot of people who've gone to HBCUs, they say like the drip used to be dripping. I don't really care. As long as you're comfortable, you look cute, you can afford it, it really doesn't matter what you're wearing, because you can be wearing thousands of dollars worth of clothes and look crazy. So we're not here no more, you can't take it with you. So like, why should you care what you're wearing? You know, it really does not matter. It really doesn't. There are bigger fish to fry than like what brand you have on. It doesn't matter at all. Okay. Another thing I will say is to try, if you haven't already tried it, try fasting, like a spiritual fast. I definitely would say it's very transformative. If I had to suggest any way of getting into it, people ask me a lot in person. The first fast that I ever did was a 3-day fast, and I kind of did like an Esther fast, and I read the book of Esther, so you can look into that yourself. I've done 3 fasts in this year. I've done 1 3-day fast and 2 7-day fasts. So no food, just water. The first one, the Esther one, is 3 days, no food, no water. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about your strengths, your weaknesses. Through fasting, I learned to not only trust God, but also to trust myself and to trust the plan that he has for me. I think where I'm at currently, like right now in this moment, like looking around, like I would not have any of this, I don't think, if I didn't fast. If I didn't take the time to really get right with God and understand and pay attention. Like I said, when you fast, you hear God in a different way, you feel him, you experience him in a different way. So with doing that, I was trusting my gut more and like using discernment and having wisdom, and the wisdom and discernment for a lot of things, finding a new place, doing a lot of things. So I definitely suggest, for sure, try fasting if you've never tried it before. Take it serious. Take it day by day. It is a very, very intense thing to do, but it really makes you a better person. And it's only going to help you. Like, it's not going to hurt you at all. I don't really see a way that fasting could hurt you. This one's kind of up in the air and it's kind of touchy, but I will bring it up. Don't worry about money. I guess I would say that there was a time where like I focused heavily on money and I just felt like I was going nuts. And I had a job. I was focusing on money so much and I had extra money, but I was always focused on it, right? I was always focused on looking at my bank account, making sure I was good. I never wanted to be in a place of lack, always buying 3 of everything, making sure I was always good. And that just comes from like childhood trauma. But like I was in a space where I was like, oh my goodness, I literally only have just enough. And that just enough is really God just having favor over you and taking care of you. But once my bills are paid and I took care of my responsibilities, when I really just stopped focusing on how much things cost, like life just got a lot easier. Because like when you're chasing money, when you're just always focused on it, I feel like you're running towards it, like you're not catching it. I'm not saying, oh, law of attraction, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying when I stopped stressing over money, it just came to me when I stayed prayed up, when I said, I know God will provide for me. I was doing my part. I'm not being lazy. I'm doing my part, but I know God's going to provide for me. And every time I book it, every single time. And even just the other day, all my bills are taken care of. Everything that I need was taken care of. And I was like, oh my God, I need to make sure I knew X, Y, and Z. I need to hustle. But it's like, relax, calm down. Everything is taken care of. You don't need to stress money. You don't need to be chasing for it. Like, you're good. And I feel like one is enough, ever enough, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we see rich people and we're like, oh my God, you got all that money, you're still like, what's the problem? it's just like, we don't know that person, how they feel, what their responsibilities are. They might have all this money, but like, what's the ratio to their bills? We don't know that. We don't know these people's business. We don't know their credit card debt. I don't know what their car payment is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not judging you. I get it. And money really be the root to all evil. Don't stress it. Take care of your bills, prioritize things. If you can't get something, just don't get it. Learn to DIY. That's kind of, I feel like, also how I'm able to be so okay is I DIY most things. I always do my own nails. I do my eyebrows by myself. I do my hair by myself. I do my makeup by myself. Beauty treatments will get very expensive. I find myself spending a lot of money on hair products. And even within the past week, I just moved and spent a lot of money moving. So I'm like, oh girl, we're gonna have to cut back. Like I said, don't be materialistic. There are things that cost $2 that work better than things that work $20 or $200. So I really think find what works for you. Do not care about what anybody thinks. You have to wake up every day and look at yourself in the mirror, sis. You do. You have to deal with yourself and face your fears every single day. Nobody's going to do this for you. You have to learn to become strong, independent. You get your strength from God. Stay prayed up and look up always. There's no reason for you to be looking down. Always look up. Always. And if I have to leave you with anything, please take care of your body. Respect yourself. Go to the gym. Go work out. You're young. This is the youngest you're ever going to be. Go work out. Go stretch. You literally need to move your body. And I wish I would have did this sooner. Through all of the different weights I've been, do you know I worked out like mostly through all of it? Like I was always working out, but sometimes cardio just isn't the thing. Like if you're someone who you're endlessly like on a treadmill or like a Stairmaster and it's really not doing anything for you, try lifting. I lift very heavy. I lift about 4 to 5 days a week. HIIT training, high intensity training. So 45 seconds on, 45 seconds off, a minute of rest, like it's the whole thing. I can make a video on it if you guys want to hear about that. But like I love working out. I love the way it makes me feel. I prioritize myself. I respect my body because I know if I don't eat right, my workouts are going to be hard. They're going to be tough. I'm going to feel like crap. I've also learned to do things by myself. I go to the gym by myself. I don't depend on anybody. I'm not depending on you to come to the gym with me because, oh, if she doesn't go, I'm not going to go. I'm not doing that. I'm not depending on someone, oh, I really want to go out to eat and I really want to go to X restaurant and nobody wants to go. I'm going to go. I literally went on an entire trip for my birthday by myself. I went all the way to Egypt by myself. My brother met me there, but I traveled all the way by myself. And my brother was the only person who wanted to go or could go. You have to start getting comfortable with doing things by yourself. People be like, how do you just go and do that? At one point, I really don't think it's not that I was thinking of not doing it. I think I just always had a boyfriend or I have a lot of siblings. I just did it with a sibling. I did it with a friend. Learn to be okay with your own company. Be comfortable in your own company. And when you are in your own company, remember, you shouldn't be drunk the whole time. You shouldn't be high the whole time. You shouldn't be eating yourself and your pain away the whole time. Go to therapy. I went to therapy for 3 months and it was the best thing. I didn't really like it while I was doing it, and I actually didn't agree with most of the things my therapist said at the time when I went, but everything has come full circle for me the past couple months. And I think it was very necessary. I think it's important for you to find who you are outside of your family, outside of your zip code, outside of your city. Don't be afraid to take risk. If things don't work out, it's okay. You can always just try again. But the past 5 years have been one heck of a roller coaster. Sometimes I think I get upset because I'm like, I wasted time in a relationship, or I wasted time doing this, or I could have been working out and but like shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it's not, right? Like I'm not gonna stress out. We cannot fix yesterday, but right now is a gift and tomorrow is unknown. But if we make it tomorrow, you just gotta give it your all, respect your time, prioritize, get a schedule, figure it out. If you want it hard enough, you'll do it. And that's all we have to say today. I think this video is kind of long, a little bit all over the place, but this is just like a little chit chat from your internet big sis, your internet prima, you know what I'm saying? I really genuinely wish you the best. I don't know what you're going through. I've been through very, very dark times and come out of it. There's times where I walked away from God. There was times where I thought I could just do it myself and I couldn't. And I really pray for whoever's on the other side of the screen. I pray that you allow God to work in your life, that you just talk to him, surrender, just really allow him to transform your life, because I'm a walking testimony of I always believed in God, but I don't think I ever really trusted God. And now that I trust God, I talk to God about every single thing I do, and it really did change my life. I'm very grateful. I'm very humbled. I'm honored that God, so much grace is given to us. I don't think we understand sometimes, but I'm not gonna say I'm grateful that I went through a lot of the things that I went through, because honestly, I could have probably avoided some of the things, but they happened. And honestly, I'm happy that some of the negative things have happened, not only in the first part of my 20s, but in my whole life. I'm kind of grateful that they happened, in a sense. If I have to make a positive thing out of it and think about the silver lining in it all, if those things didn't happen so early on in life, I don't think I'd have the wisdom that I have right now. Like I said, I have friends that are older than me. They're like, yo, you're always dropping gems. You're always just like changing my perspective on things, and you're younger than me. And it's like, I just been through a lot of stuff. I have older parents. I have older sisters that are in their 40s. So like, I've just seen a lot, and by no means necessary do I have everything figured out. I just know what not to do, right? No matter how much comes out of being on the internet, out of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, no matter how much this stuff grows, like I said in the beginning, real life is happening. And I feel like the internet only shows you this much, and there are a handful of people who are real, who are honest on the internet and really show it all. I think that there is room for that, but I also think that, you know, there's a bit of privacy that is needed in people's lives. But I try to be open and honest. That's all I can really be. So I hope that this video helps somebody out there, and I want to stay active on here and keep my momentum. This channel is growing so much. My watch time hours, everything's going up. So I'm very grateful for this channel and everybody who watches me on here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. Comment down below any thoughts. If you have any gems you want to drop too, I would love to do this video in another 5-6 months. What my 25th year of life has shown me. I'm excited to see how the next 5 years go, God willing, because with what I have now, like with the tools that I have now, I feel like I could really build a crazy house for myself. I feel like I have a firm foundation now, and I'm just very grateful. And yeah, very grateful. I think one more thing I want to say is to learn the art of forgiveness. I know this video is long, but I feel like I should just say it's on my heart to say it. I've recently been forgiving a lot of people and forgiving myself. And I saw something that said, sometimes we think we forgave people, but God really knows our heart. And sometimes we think we forgave somebody, but treat them and keep them punished still. Or when they walk up to us, you know, maybe we're around them, but like maybe our response to them is negative, or we still hold them in a prison when they come up to us. But when they're not around us, like, oh, I forgave them. But like when they're in our face, we don't really forgive them. And I just have been working really hard on the forgiveness portion, because sometimes people do unbearable things. People do things that are vile and vicious, and sometimes it's hard to forgive them for that. But God can sit there and forgive you for everything you've ever did and everything I've ever done. I'm not perfect. I'm probably a villain in someone's story. You know, if they can forgive me for that, that means the world to me. And I have to forgive myself, like I said, for a lot of things that I did and put myself through, and things that I agreed to that I know I shouldn't have, or, you know, just, it's just life, and like, we're not perfect, and like, it feels weird to be vulnerable, and like, probably when I go edit this, it's gonna be really weird, but like, at the end of the day, I'm just a girl, and I think that it's important for us to have these conversations. So thank you for watching, and I hope this resonates with you. And if you're younger than me watching this, you're ahead of the game. If you're a little bit older than me watching this, like, it's never too late. And if you're 25 like me, it's been a ride, but I'm excited for what's to come, because it's only up for here. I'll see you in the next one.